Hello, welcome back to Outlandish Claims, everyone. Once again, another why do I want to say AP Euro? I want to say AP Euro.
I got mine, Adam. I don't know how to tell you this.
Get the history out. Get the history out. It's not AP Euro. It's Euro 2020. Andrew, welcome back to discuss Euro 2020. Very happy to have you here. There were some, of course, not so interesting developments in the semifinals, except for one thing that the one you got wrong was a big one. So we'll start with the one you got wildly correct in England beating the ever living crap out of the Ukraine. So walk us through that match for us, good sir.
Um, to give you my expert analysis, England was just a much better team than Ukraine. I mean, it really just came down to that. I don't know. I mean, Ukraine just, they were the last team to qualify from the group stage. Only had one win. I thought that Sweden really kind of, as the English would say, bottled it against Ukraine in extra time with giving up that red card and just being not able to be, attacking. I mean, not that they're ever attacking. Sweden's known for being just a defensive unit and having no creativity up front and hoping that goals come from somewhere. And they didn't this time around. So I just feel that, and Ukraine, credit to them for making it as far as they did. I just, at the end of the day, you put the two labs. It was a mismatch. So I think once and also we're looking at an England team that found their scoring touch, and once that happens, it's kind of curtains for whoever they're playing, for the most part, but especially Ukraine. So not much else there.
Right.
Ukraine bad, Ukraine was good. It was just
For
really
Ukraine, just a buzz saw against a feathered pillow.
right.
Nothing to be done. Well, on the other side of things, the that was one half of your finals matchup. You got that one very correct. The other one you got slightly wrong because while you did have Belgium winning this game, you actually also had Italy as your number two in the fight. So if you basically had the winner of this match winning the thing. So you could have a partial credit award for being correct here. But what did you see that game that basically led to Belgium's downfall? I mean, to be fair, all Belgium had was a penalty kick goal, but it's not like they were starving for chances. Just what happened? As you said so eloquently, Italy is playing without fear. Was that still the case this time around, or did you just see Belgium completely bungle it as
Yeah, as we might say here. I
uh,
just thought Italy. I just think Italy. Put it. The concerns of Italy really kind of came after the Austria match, but they just kind of really went right back to their winning ways against Belgium. I think, Mancini really has them well drilled. I just felt that, yeah, I think it really was, an issue of, I don't want to say no fear per se, but I just feel they have that kind of confidence. They have that swagger about them, and I think they're not playing with as much pressure. I think them doing decent. I think all the Italian media at this point. I mean, I can only guess. I'm not reading Gazzetta dello Sport or whatever, but I can imagine based off of them failing to qualify for the last tournament. I just feel that they just want a decent tournament out of them. They want a reason to like the team again, and they kind of already got that. Now, obviously, I think pressure is going to really build back up now that they are this far. But I just think against Belgium, I thought they took their chances. They were a little more clinical. I mean, there was a notable miss from Lukaku, which you're not used to seeing from a striker of his caliber. I think with Belgium in this tournament, I might have mistake. I think a lot of us, myself included, kind of have mistaken their kind of cautious consistency for good form. Whereas perhaps they just weren't firing at all cylinders. They just weren't able to turn it on when they needed to. I think they were able to beat Portugal, but it was a very much it was a 1 goal game, and they kind of scraped through it a little bit. And I just think against Italy, they just never really got into the game, or when they got into the game, it was too late. Italy is quick; they strike quick, and I just think that Belgium, for whatever reason, they just never clicked. So I think that was really the key to the game, was that Italy clicked and Belgium just never quite put it all together.
arguably the feel good story of this whole tournament though is Denmark going again and winning, beating Czech Republic 2-1. Uh, First of all, the first question I'm going to ask here is Czech Republic that good that they only lost 2-1, or is it just that Denmark was having kind of an off day or what? Because Denmark, as you said, this is not their best squad ever, but I still would picture them as an A minus team compared to the Czech Republic, which maybe B minus C plus ish.
I'd say like a B.
B.
Based on the tournament. I just think again, another one of those cases where on paper Denmark was better and they showed it. I think really with the Czech Republic, they've done well to get this far, and plaudits to them for beating the Netherlands. But I just feel that a big part of their strategy was get the ball to Patrick Sheekin to kind of hope. They had some, they looked structured throughout the group stage, but I think teams like the Czech Republic, you start to see them kind of really fall apart when you get with and due to their lack of like late tournament experience or lack of players that are used to that kind of level of football. They just kind of eventually just kind of started to fall apart a little bit, and I think Denmark didn't have the greatest games either. I think the kind of their tiredness is starting to show a little bit. But that being said, I think Denmark perhaps has the best team unit in this whole tournament, at least right now. That's not saying they're the best team or that they're the best, but I just think that I feel like they find ways to win. They have many different goal scorers. They have a lot of resources, and they're finding different ways to win games. And I think this is another case. I mean, what else can be said about one of their shortest players scoring a header? I just think, which was terrible marking by the Czech Republic. So, I mean, again, one of those little column A, little column B kind of things. I think that the Czechs just didn't quite have it on a day. I don't think their defense is all that great. And I think the Danish were just a little more composed on the day. And I think they have enough firepower, even if it's not impressive, they have enough weapons that will beat a Czech Republic, no problem.
That will leave only one matchup left in the quarterfinals. Perhaps what turned out to be one of the most shocking games in a positive way turned into one of the most absolutely distressing choke jobs I've ever seen in any sport. Just walk us through just how Switzerland managed to basically act like a fat man in a steakhouse and swallow an entire steak only to choke and die in shootout.
So there's one thing to be said about teams that go to multiple shootouts. Number one, having had that match against France, that takes a lot out of you from a physical standpoint. But also, goalkeepers they study penalty kicks. They have every team has their own way. I think Germany had where they put a piece of paper in the goalkeeper's sock before the shootout, or they put on a bottle of like who tends to go what way. And I think goalkeeper coaches will scour league footage for when certain players take penalties and where they tend to go. But there's no better. There really isn't a better, sample size than a team that just went through a penalty shootout. I think it's a lot rarer for a team to win consecutive shootouts in the same tournament for a number of reasons. But one of them, I just think, you have better understanding of where the players like to go. And even if the players know that they have their preferred style they've practiced, and now there's doubt in their mind. I think that came to fruition here. So I think the Swiss, I don't think they had it at that level. I think this is the first time in a quarterfinals in generations for any tournament. So I think, their luck ran out. I thought they did very well, obviously against the French, but against I forget who they beat, but they beat kind of like a crappy team. But I just feel that they, I think this was really the max they were able to do. They have a lot of players that are very good for the national teams, such as Shaqiri, Xhaka, and obviously their goalkeeper Jan Sommer. But he had to make 10 big saves. So I just think on the day, Italy were just a better team, and I think the efforts of the Swiss goalkeeper, got them to that level. But I just think at the end of the day, the Switzerland just weren't good enough, and there's no shame in that not being as good as as Spain. But I just think that Switzerland I think have had a great tournament, but I just think that this was one step too far for them.
Would you say that the best way I can put it is, would you say that Switzerland was just honestly trying to be too cute in the penalty kicks with the way they try? First of all, the approaches some of them took to the ball, which was like stop, then start, which I know some of them do, but it was just like it seemed for Spain it was much more fluid, but for Switzerland it was just like let's try to find some little cute little tricky moves that we can do, and then we'll just kick the ball really softly.
I mean, I kind of see. I mean, as a player myself, I mean, not for a while, but it's if I'm taking a penalty kick, I'm never I'm never trying to dink it or chip it or anything like that. I'm always going for power. But I think that also goes to the fact that you can't really repeat. I mean, you can repeat the same penalty if you want, and I think that's what they should have done. A lot of them, because if you're confident in that penalty, it doesn't matter if the goalkeeper dives the right way. If you place it properly, it's going in no matter what. I just, I think another thing to say is that a lot, because of the quality of the Spanish team, I think a lot of the Spanish players have experience taking penalties. They are penalty takers by trade. So it's one thing to have, Granit Xhaka and Xherdan Shaqiri, hit penalties, but I think it's another for people further down the line who don't have the experience, especially at this level. Whereas I just think Spain, they are though they sprout some leaks sometimes. They are a well-oiled machine. So I think at the end of the day, Spain, they have a lot of players from Villarreal who won the Europa League final in a 11-round penalty shootout where everyone scored. All 11 players, goalkeeper included. Goalkeeper had an excellent penalty. So I think you have a number of players from that team. So I think, ironically, Spain, if they had missed 5 penalties consecutively leading up to that shootout, but they just put it together, and I think that's commendable. So I do think that there is something to be said. I think a lot more of the penalties are a little more fluid, but they have had some interesting history recently. So
30 seconds or less. Who's winning each matchup here?
okay, there's no like obvious winners in any of these. I think they're all capable of winning. I do think on paper Italy is better than Spain. I just think Spain just they're up and down. They're way too inconsistent, and I just think Italy. They have the depth, they have the defense, they have Roberto Mancini's been an excellent coach so far, and I think he's going to continue to do so. I mean, some cons for Italy are their experience and stamina and losing Spinazzola, but they've so far just been able to plug and play. So I just think at the end of the day, Italy's more composed. I think Italy's just the better squad on paper. Whereas the other one, we love Denmark. We love the Denmark story, but England's, I think, I think England's attack is in form.
We're rooting for Denmark, but there's like no chance England's going to lose.
I mean, they could. I mean, but just England's bench could make it run in this tournament. They're just in such good form, and their defense hasn't let up a goal. Jordan Pickford has had a very up and down 2 years for Everton. All of a sudden, just putting it together, and John Stokes has been and Tyrone Mings have been pretty solid in the back line. And you have people like I forget his name, but they're contributing to the attack too. So I just think that England are kind of they have the easily on paper the better team. I think the question for England is really whether they can get all the players on the field at the right time in the right formation. And that's kind of up to Gareth Southgate to put that to the test. And if they do let up a goal, how are they to respond? We don't know how that's going to play out if that happens.
That's true.
What I will say about Denmark, I mean, they have a chip on their shoulder, and not just because of the Christian Eriksen thing. I just think that they have a lot of excellent players who play, they play for relatively big clubs like Atalanta and others, but a lot of young players, a lot of people that have a lot to prove who want to show that either they are good enough for a transfer to a better team to make more money, or a case like Martin Braithwaite who wants to prove to Barcelona that they should keep starting him despite his previous form. So I just think Denmark has the best team unit, as I said earlier, and I just think that they have the chip on their shoulder where they can give, England a scare, but they are playing in Wembley. They are playing in London.
Oh God! All right, just give it to England then. There's no way it's over.
We'll see. But on paper, England, Italy, but I wouldn't consider Spain or Denmark winning a shock. Right. If that makes sense.
I get you, but prepare myself for an England win. That's great. Thanks. Good to get prepared now, though. Andrew, thank you very much for joining me. I will see you again. We'll see you again after the semis, right before the finals. Again, much appreciated you being here. Thanks very much for sharing your off day with me.
Always a pleasure.
We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
All right. Have a great day, guys.